once you take the vaccine, Regis, how long do the antibodies last? Do we have data on that?
Yeah, so I mean, every month, for every month in Bharat Biotech, there's always a new question to answer. This is the question we're trying to answer right now. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little more time. Because we've started from phase 1, 2, 3, we have approximately 27,000 people that are under a clinical trial as we speak, either phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we're closely monitoring them. So we do have data suggests that 3 months after your second dose, there's a good amount of antibodies. We are analyzing 6 months time point right now, and we'll publish those results soon. And we have reason to believe that they should be good as well. You will have a good amount of antibody responses after 2 doses of Covaxin after 6 months. Now, the real question lies is, when do you take a booster? I'm not talking from a commercial standpoint. Of course, if you say from a vaccine manufacturing standpoint, it's great to say take 3 doses because that's more income to the company. But in all essence, the only reason why public health policymakers are suggesting that you might need to take a booster is because of these variants of concern. Because the variants are leading to diminished performance of these vaccines, it's important that you take a booster so that you can be protected not only against the original COVID, which was first detected in China, but also the emerging variants, which are being detected all across the world. So I can't give you an answer as to when you should take your booster because we don't have data. Once we have data, in a couple of months, we should have that data. And if our drug controller general approves, they will make the final decision whether a 2-dose or a booster dose is required. And when they make that decision, it will be made publicly available.
Okay, so we are yet to wait the answer for that. So when you take the vaccines, nowadays everyone is, once they get the shot, they go and start getting their antibodies measured, right? And it's kind of surprising to actually see people getting these tests done and they plan their exposure based on the number of antibodies that they have. I keep getting a couple of calls asking me if, just saying that I have 13 antibodies, am I safe? I have no antibodies in my system. Well, ultimately, would you like to comment on if it's actually necessary to check the number of antibodies and if they're depleting and panic regarding that? Because obviously, once you take the vaccine, they do work.
Absolutely. So I would say there's 2 important parameters for evaluating the performance of a vaccine with regards to an immune response standpoint. There's 2 things. There's antibodies and there's T cells. So T cells are a part of your immune system. It's probably only 2% of your immune system, but those are the cells that actually help you out in the long run. Those are the cells that actually remember that you got COVID, and it remembers the next time it sees COVID-19, it's going to rapidly produce antibodies. That's what the T cell does. And your normal antibodies, which are called B cells. So you have B stands for Bangalore, T stands for Trivandrum. So your B antibodies are your short-term antibodies. So when you get natural COVID or when you get the vaccine, you're going to have these B antibodies for maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe even more. But the T cells last you for life. They're called memory T cells. So it's very important to gauge the performance of a vaccine based on both of these guys, the B cells and the T cells. So when you get vaccinated or when you get infected with COVID, I'm sure the first thing you're going to do is collect your blood, send it to a diagnostic center, check your antibodies over there. The problem with those tests are twofold. First of all, the assay is of course robust, but it's not going to tell you if those antibodies are capable of fighting COVID-19. I mean, when I say fighting COVID-19, we call it neutralization in scientific terminology, but that basically means that when the virus enters you, do those antibodies have the potential to thwart or to kill the virus? So the test you get from your diagnostic lab is not the best marker of telling you whether you're protected or not. Secondly, the tests that you take at these centers are possibly antibodies that look at other surface proteins of the virus. So as you might know, the spike protein is a very important part of the COVID-19 virus. And most of these viruses um, target the spike protein. So if you generate an antibody to the spike, you should be able to prevent from getting COVID-19, because the spike antibodies have the best capability of fighting off the virus. So these diagnostic centers, at times, most of the times, I've been getting this as well. I get a lot of WhatsApps with, please look at my antibody score. And it's not always a straight answer, but these antibody tests, majority of the times, report two kinds of antibodies: antibodies to the spike, which are the important ones, antibody to the nucleocapsid, which we still don't know how important it is. So my suggestion is, and also these diagnostic tests don't tell you about the T cells, the Trivandrum cells, which I was talking about, which helps you for the long run. So I think it's very important to, of course, you can track your antibodies, speak to your doctor about it, but I don't think that would warrant you to pursue getting a third dose or so. I think the amount of antibodies that any vaccine generates is at an adequate level, otherwise it won't be licensed, is at an adequate level to protect you, at least for the short term, at least for 6 months is the data that we have today.
So the bottom line is that don't keep getting your antibodies checked regularly and just trust the vaccine that you've taken. And
absolutely trust the vaccine, but the buck doesn't stop there. Vaccines, as you know, I just told you, Covaxin's efficacy is 78%. But there is a trick to make that 100%, and that's COVID-19 appropriate behavior. So if you can do a combination of these things, go get vaccinated and continue to be mindful of your surroundings and your behavior, I think you should have no reason to get COVID-19.
Right. So you have answered my next question as well, but I'm just going to ask you the question again for the sake of the viewers today. There have been instances where people have taken the first shot and then they get infected. And the next question is, I just took the first shot. Why am I infected? So do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so few reasons again. The first dose is partially effective. It's not, you take the first dose and you're done. No, you still have to take the second dose. And your immune system takes time to develop a response. The second it goes into your body, it doesn't mean you're just snapping your finger and antibodies are produced. This is a biological process. The immune system doesn't know what's just been injected into your body. It takes time to understand it. It's like preparing for an exam and getting 78% marks. You need to study for a little bit, right? So that's what your body does. It takes time. In this case, for Covaxin, it takes about 45 days. Assuming you get the first dose and the second dose on time, by the 45th day or the 56th day, we have reason to believe that you should have a good antibody response. So it takes time to get there. So after you take the first dose as well, please be mindful. Please implement all COVID-19 appropriate behavior.
So the bottom line is that even after you take the second dose of the vaccine, also you might be infected, but the severity of it will be a lot lesser.
Right? Absolutely. That's what we're seeing these days, especially with these variants. I mean, we did not predict that there would be these variants, but of course, virology teaches us that viruses mutate. That's their only goal. Their goal is to survive, no matter how, hook or crook. So they do mutate. They do mutate to gain entry into another human being. That's how viruses evolve, and that's how they've been around for so many years. With these variants, the performance of the vaccines are slightly decreasing, but they're not decreasing to a drastic rate where you should be really concerned, but they are decreasing. So one should be mindful still that once you're vaccinated, continue with these COVID-19 appropriate behavior.
COVID protocol is absolutely necessary. You just can't walk around saying I've been vaccinated. I'm going to ask you a couple of clinical questions now, Rachis. Can pregnant women and breastfeeding women take the vaccine?
So I've been told that the Ministry of Health are having discussions like this. From a Covaxin standpoint, because it's based on an inactivated vaccine platform, these vaccines are usually allowed to be given to pregnant mothers. We, in fact, give influenza vaccines, which are also inactivated to pregnant individuals. However, right now, both the vaccines in India are not indicated for pregnant and lactating mothers. I've been hearing, I'm not sure, I've been hearing a rumor that potentially this will open up for at least lactating individuals. And after some more data is collected from both these vaccines, it will be opened up towards pregnant individuals. From a Bharat Biotech standpoint, we do know that pregnant mothers, lactating individuals, and children are special populations that we need to address as well. Our work doesn't stop here. I've mentioned that we've completed our phase 3 trial, but there's something called a phase 4 trial as well. I don't want to bring too many numbers with you today, but once this vaccine is licensed, this is when we start looking at children, pregnant mothers, and lactating mothers as well. So this is the next step for us to do these kinds of clinical trials in such cohorts to understand the safety and immune response of the vaccine. But we're quite optimistic that this vaccine will be safe, will be efficacious in these individuals as well. We just need some more time.
Right. So you said that the special population are the pregnant, lactating mothers. What about children under the age of 18? You have started studies on that as well. And where do we stand today?
So we've just received our permission to start a pediatric trial in children as young as 2 years of age up till 18 years of age. That trial will start on June 1st. First week of June is when we plan to initiate the trial. With pediatric trials, one needs to be extremely careful. They're not adults. So you need to be a little more cautious with your approach, with your execution, and make sure everything runs smoothly. The last thing you want is harming a child. And we have tremendous amount of experience doing clinical trials in pediatric populations. In fact, that is our bread and butter. Adults are much harder. But that trial will start June 1st. And assuming things go according to plan, assuming that the vaccine is safe and it's able to generate an immune response in these children, we should receive approval from the drug controller of general soon.
I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there waiting for the vaccine to come out for their children, especially with the second wave. There are lots of children being affected at this point in time. My next question, Rachel, is can women on their menstrual cycle take the vaccine, and can couples trying to conceive take the vaccine?
Sure. So I think the first question you asked was quite intriguing to me. In fact, I found out about this rumor about a week ago, and it was quite surprising. I was like, wow, this is a new one. So the short answer is yes, you can take it. Please don't take it. Please don't subscribe to WhatsApp University. Less time from your phone is much better. Trust. I've been trying to do that, cut down on phone time. So please take it, even if you're experiencing your period. Coming to your second question, partners who are trying to conceive, yes, you can still take the vaccine. That's not an issue at all. But if you're planning to conceive in the immediate future, possibly like a month or so, then perhaps it's better if you wait for the Ministry of Health guidelines on COVID-19 vaccinations for pregnant mothers.
Right.